Hey traders, thanks for hopping in here today. I'm actually going to make this a separate video from my live trade today because I really want to teach you guys what I look for pre-market. Because the last few days I've caught the stock before it ever made a move, and I didn't make money, or I lost some money, or I over traded it. So I think that you'll be able to trade these better than I do. But as far as how to find these stocks, I found BLIN when it was right here at 108. Popped up on Trade Idea Scanner, and immediately it caught my attention. I put it right down here in my watch list, and I looked over here. 7 a.m. it came out with news. Every time a stock pops up on the scanner, and granted, some of you don't have Trade Idea scanners. There's other scanners you guys can have, whether that's FinViz or MarketWatch or Twitter, just looking around, or some of the traders like Ross Cameron. They'll post screenshots of trade ideas every day. And that's what you want to look for. Look for trade ideas scanners. See what's gapping up just a little bit. You can even use Thinkorswim. And you'll have to find a video on that because I don't use Thinkorswim, but they actually do have a gap up scanner where you can make the proper adjustments, saying, okay, anything that's gapping up like 4, 5, 10% or more. It's a very good scanner. This platform is very robust, and you can tailor it to your own trading style and what you want to see pre-market. So there's different ways to find these stocks, but what you want to do, and this has happened the last few days, is find the stock that's gapping up just a little bit on light volume. You don't want to find the stock that's overcrowded. There's going to be potential to make money on a stock like that that's overcrowded, but my strategy and what's worked for me is looking over my recent live trades is reverse splits. Reverse splits work pretty well because they usually gap up a lot and then don't have volume. Then what you want to do is wait for a little red to green move at the start of the day, and then once it breaks past the open, that's an entry point. I like to find light volume. I don't like to go towards stocks that are just have a lot of buying and selling pre-market. For example, MTSL this morning. This was the number one top gainer, and it just had a lot of volume, and it was overextended. It was gapping up a lot, and that's why we're seeing a sell-off. We don't want to buy up the top of the mountain. We want to buy at the bottom of the mountain, sell the top. And BLIN was that stock where we're looking at the bottom of the mountain. Now, granted, what you have to look for is volume. This doesn't work unless volume comes in, and that's why I find these stocks, and then I wait for volume. Now, some of you are going to go out there and find some stocks that are gapping up some, and they're never going to get any volume. There's different variables you need to look for, and after a little while, your gut will just tell you when you pop up a chart, okay, this one's good. This one can get good volume. Now, I'll tell you the different variables I look for. This one, for instance, we were gapping up a few percent. From yesterday, the close was about 90 cents, and we were gapping up just about 15 or 20% or so, which is not a lot. That's not a lot compared to the one I just showed you, MTSL, which was gapping up huge. We want to be gapping up a little bit. That's one. Number two, we want to see news. So if you're using Thinkorswim, whatever you're using, find a headline for this morning. I don't know what this news means. I usually never do. I don't really trade fundamentals. I trade technicals. So find one that's gapping up very small. Find news. Third, you want to have a low float because that's going to attract a lot of momentum traders, and that's what happened on BLIN today. This float for BLIN is under 5 million, and that's what I love. I love stocks around 5 million float or less. If you get above 10, 15, 20 plus million, they're going to be slower movers, and you're not going to get a push up like this with 110 to 178. That's a huge move, and I didn't even make money on it. You're going to, if you watch the live trading, please don't. It's embarrassing. I've been trading a little scared because my trading this summer hasn't been the greatest. I've been lowering my share size to accommodate market conditions, as well as locking in my profits quick. But now these moves are actually sustaining themselves, and I need to be scaling out my position versus locking in for a few cents. But BLIN, so those are the absolutes you need to look for. A low float, around 5 million or less, is great. 5 million or less in the public float will be perfect. You need to have a headline, you need to have news. If you don't, at least have a good technical breakout. This is another one this had. If you look at the daily chart on this, this is something else I look for. Number 4, you want to see on the daily big run-ups in the past. You want to see in the past chart history that this stock has made significant moves in its past. And that's what we're seeing here. Big move up, but then it retraces back down. So that's something to notice. This stock is a big former runner, but it retraces this move entirely. So the stock will gap up and push up, and then it'll come all the way back down. That's what this upper shadow right here means. The upper wick means it's sold off all in one day. You guys need to have a daily chart on a separate monitor or just be aware of the daily chart. You have to look at the daily chart. That's a necessity. It's not just asking you guys to do that or not. If you want to be a successful trader, know what the daily chart and the past chart history is like on each stock, because you want to find range. When you find a stock that its range is just trading like these candles here, up and down like a few cents a day, you don't want to trade it. You want to find a former runner. You want to find these stocks that are moving up big time. Even if they retrace their move, you'll just be aware of that. So for instance, the stock like today, we know this is a former runner, but we know it's probably going to retrace its move, so you need to be selling into resistance. So that's another thing that you guys want to be paying attention to. News, small gap up, low flow, and a good past chart history, a great past chart history. Those are the four things that I would completely recommend as far as finding stocks to trade pre-market. And those are going to be on a lot of people's priority list as well, because they move quick. You want to be going where most people are headed to, and most people are going to be heading to those four things. And if you don't quite understand what I'm saying, which probably you won't if you haven't been trading for a while, then write down those four things that I listed. And then every morning you wake up, just look for those four, and then you'll start finding that those four actually are pretty consistent. Those four key variables are the most important thing it comes to when I'm looking for a stock. And if they don't line up with those four, I'm most likely not going to trade the stock. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you tomorrow.